Hello, hello. How are we doing?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing just great.
Well, welcome to Lady Geek Live. I'm Meredith Lochran, and today's special guest is Leo Nocedo of Nocedo Photo. And we have quite a bit to talk about today, don't we?
Oh, yes. I've been spreading the word around of the event of the Cosplay Alley and trying to get as many cosplay friends to participate and tell them what's going on.
Well, I wanted to play this. Let's see if this works. Hold on one second. Geek Out Virtual Con is very proud to present Leo Nocedo of Nocedo Photo and the Florida Geek Scene. If you've been to a Florida event, chances are you've been photographed by this man. Join us on Cosplay Alley.
So many cosplayers, and then they pretty much asked me to set up a group shot, and I tell them 1 o'clock, everybody shows up, and they all show up.
That's right. Show up on Geek Out Virtual Con, April 11th through 12th.
Yes, thank you. That was a great production. And, now that I'll be able to put out the word out that this event is happening, try and gather as many of my friends as I can to participate. Something to do since we're all locked up at home.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of being locked up, how is it? You guys keeping healthy?
Yes, I'm doing fine in my household. The kids just don't know that it's a quarantine. They just think it's just a vacation from school.
Mm-hmm.
So, they're running around like maniacs.
Yeah, and it's funny. I don't want to downplay it because I know that there is a lot of hardship out there. But, I've been working from home for over a decade. So, this self-isolation, the social distancing thing hasn't been so much of an impact for me. And so I think when we have a group like yours, with the geek scene, others like Independent Creators Connection, OnCon, we have all of these different groups out there who are like, hey, we know what this is like, and if you're having a problem, please reach out to us because we've been there. That's my dog.
Okay.
Squeaky.
Yes, and I have plenty of kids running around in the house. So if you hear all this weird noise, it's them just acting up.
Yeah. David Smith says, "Hi, Leo. Guess who?"
Hey, are you being a good Deadpool?
Well, we've been trying really hard to get him to make sure that he's dressed up and participating in Geek Out Virtual Con with us. And so having said that, we've got a couple of cosplay sections of time, basically like 2-hour sections of time, both days, for everybody to get dressed, to get into character. And basically what you see is what you get. You're going to have some camera time so that you can interact. We can have up to 6 people in the room so you guys can mess around. And, you're only going to break your own equipment. So,
yeah. It's like, let's have fun. It's like it's going to be a while before we can jump into cosplay. Why not do it now? Why not do it at home? And then show off your wardrobe. Show off your prop making, show off, how do you make your dresses, if you want to do a live skit with some music, play some live music, or dance around, or act all crazy, blow off some steam, this is the place to do it.
And I was telling a few people, I said, listen, if you're going to sit still, then you really only have to get dressed from the waist up, if you don't want to get dressed from the waist down, that's on you. Just don't stand up. Okay.
Let's keep this PG, folks.
Right. We try. I mean, GeekInsider, we don't really have limitations on language, but I might have to draw the line at naked.
Yeah, you know, I do deal with some families, with their cosplayers, and then oh, somebody wants to join in. This is my little niece.
Hello. Hi. Welcome to Lady Geek Live.
Leah.
Her name's Aaliyah.
Hi, Aaliyah. So does she get dressed up for cosplay and all that? She goes to the conventions too?
No, not yet. Not open up for conventions. But I love going to conventions and buying outfits for them. She loved dressing up in her princess outfits and stuff like that, along with her brother. Her brother loves doing Robin from Batman and doing the Power Rangers and all that stuff. In my house, dress up is kind of like a daily thing.
Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about Nocedo Photo and how you got into the convention scene, and chasing cosplayers has got to be like herding cats.
Oh, yes, but I got into the convention scene through my brother. My brother has been, my dear departed brother he has been going to conventions for more than 20 years. And then after our mother passed away, I had moved in back into our house in Miami, and then took responsibilities of the house, and then saw that he went to conventions. So I made sure that he had whatever money he needed to go to conventions to buy and do whatever he wanted. And then after our period of me going through my accident and amputation, it's just the two of us stuck in the house. Then we decided to start going to conventions together. And then, I saw that he loved taking pictures. So I gave him his first digital camera to take pictures. And then when I started going with him, I picked up a digital camera. And then me being a photographer 40 years, just loved it. And I was always amazed at how the cosplayers just got together and just put their outfits together and just come out to conventions and just have a good time. And I just loved it and just kept on going and doing them more and more. And then, what I loved about doing it too was sharing my photos to the cosplayers so they can actually see their photos. And then, doing that for years and years, and just build up a reputation as a, you can see your photos with me, unlike regular folks that just keep their photos privately and don't share them on Facebook or web pages. And then, I just, love it.
You've got, hey.
Okay, Jordan, photo bombing.
Come on over and say hello.
Jordan, come on. Okay.
How are you?
Put on that mask. Put on that mask.
There we go. Getting into the spirit of the photo bombing you.
Come on, Langdon. Langdon's my neighbor down the street.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Wade. Come on,
he's hiding behind you. Hi, gang.
Yes, in my house, we always have the kids in the neighborhood just come by. We have so much stuff in our yard. Okay, Jordan, quit dabbing. Okay, you guys. Ow. Okay, guys. Yeah.
It's been a long time since I had little ones running around my house.
Yes. All right. Thanks, David. Yeah, no, it's never a dull moment in my house, especially with kids. That's what keeps me going is these kids. And then, going to conventions and meeting up with my friends and having good times, setting up photo shoots and everything. and then buying stuff. Okay, now.
So we are really, really happy to have you as one of our co-hosts for the Geek Out Virtual Con. And that's, for anybody who doesn't know, that is April 11th through 12th. We know it's Easter, but we figured that we've got a captive audience this time around, so that can be forgiven because most people aren't going out, and it's getting a little wild out there with trying to hunt for groceries. I was doing that this morning, and getting supplies and things like that. But Geek Out Virtual Con, I think that was birthed from the idea of seeing a lot of our online community who are, as I said earlier, we're used to kind of being homebound and working from home and keeping ourselves occupied. And I really have to work on this camera angle because you can see my dogs going back and forth like your kids.
you see kids.
Yeah, but and that's okay. That's okay. We're really casual here.
Well,
but,
we're at home. And
exactly. And just doing what we can to stay sane, stay positive, keep busy. And GeekInsider has a platform where we can help cross promote a lot of people and shed a light on some of the places that might be struggling, especially around this time. And so I wanted to kind of segue into West Orange Comics. I know that you kind of use that as a headquarters.
Yes.
And can you tell us a little bit about them?
Okay, West Orange Comic Books is based in Ocoee, Florida, just west of Orlando. And that's where my website that I work for contribute to, Florida Geek Scene, is based out of from. And right now, same as many other comic book shops, everything is being shut down and can't open. So what we need to do is promote their websites so we can have online purchasing and Yes, go ahead. Okay. So we need to make aware of small shops, mom and pop stores, and start buying at least, gift cards from them, or go to their online websites and buy merchandise, just for them to generate some sort of income.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think gift cards are probably one of the best things that people can do to help support local businesses.
Yes.
So if you have it within your means that you can do that, more so than the big box restaurants and things like that. But, think about the little mom and pop shops, the comic book stores, the record stores, all of those things where you can ask for a gift card or a gift certificate. And that's the upfront money that they can use now to try and stay afloat while things are really difficult. So one of the things that I wanted to ask you was,
guys, can you move that down, please?
Leo, I'm leaving for work. I need to speak to the kids.
Okay, can you do that?
No, because I'm walking out the door. I'm gonna be late.
Anything can happen on live stream.
Live in a house full of kids.
Yeah, yep.
Okay, this is my house.
Alrighty.
But
and I had a question for you, but I lost it. Oh my goodness, this is what happens when I don't write things down.
Sure.
So we talked about your beginnings with the conventions and things like that. And a lot of these conventions have been canceled. The bricks and mortars one. Look at my dog scratching in the background. Talk about like live stream stuff. You see this?
Yeah.
This is like I've got dog butt right there. Scratching. I tell you what, you know what? Bah, I don't care.
Hey, we're all at home. We're safe. Yeah.
Maybe I should move over here. There we go. That's a little better. But okay, so the bricks and mortar conventions, they've been shuttered, they've been postponed, some of them canceled, some of them are trying to. I know MegaCon is rescheduled for June 4th through 7th, I want to say. That's off the top of my head. Yeah, and we don't know. I mean, we don't know if that's really going to happen. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of forward thinking and wishful thinking maybe at this point. And I think some of the stars have even begun to confirm that they're going to be there as long as it happens. Mm-hmm. But then with a lot of these postponements, you know, they're being rescheduled and they're kind of cutting into the convention schedule, the one that's already, you know, out there for the rest of the year.
Well, believe it or not, I post the scheduling of events and know what the current schedule. Believe it or not, June was actually a full open month of no actual conventions happening that month of June. So,
oh wow! So what site do you post that to? I'm going to share that here.
The Florida Geek Scene has a convention, you know, schedule updates and everything, a schedule section of upcoming events.
Mm-hmm. Is that FloridaGeekScene.com?
Yes, FloridaGeekScene.com. You just go into the conventions and events section and just click the drop window to it, and then it'll show you a month by month you know, schedule of upcoming events happening in the state of Florida. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, I try to pay attention to as many conventions and events as possible, from big to small, to library, to little Comic-Con and comics and toy stories, shows that are happening in like libraries and actual comic book stores. You know, I try to support as many events as possible, and you know, to get them going. You know, and it's like those little events are probably one of the best because there everybody gets to see and meet each other. Mm-hmm. You know, unlike these huge conventions, you know, people show up and spend the whole day and not run into each other. You know, such as like MegaCon or Tampa Bay Comic Con or SuperCon. You know, and those events are so big that you know you walk around and not see some of your friends. Whereas you go to one of these smaller cons, you know, instantly you'll meet up with your friends, get together, have fun.
Mm-hmm. So when you are at a MegaCon, for example, I mean, it's a huge event. Yeah. How do you get those group shots done? Like, how do you organize that?
Well, you know, in the beginning, my friends asked me, you know, you want to get together and do a group shot. You know, you want a photographic? I said, yeah, sure. You know, and then I set up a time and a place, and then everybody starts showing up, and then boom, I started making a habit to each and every convention. Then I have a photo page, Nocedo Photo, where I actually announce the photo shoots and locations as they are, as you know, when they happen. And right then and there, you know, the crowds are just fantastic, you know. And then for the smaller cons, I can generally announce them right then and there over the PA, and everybody will know it, and everybody in cosplay comes out together, and we all take a photo shoot, and then we separate by genre: Marvel, DC, Star Wars, Disney. Yeah, I've seen so many group shots at conventions that I've taken away from them, how they do it, and apply it to how I do mine. So, I make sure that everybody has fun. There are really no restrictions on costumes. If you made it yourself, or you bought it in a store, or even if you just wore a t-shirt, you're welcome. Photographers, all photographers are welcome to the photo shoots, just as long as you respect my space, and my view of the actual shoot. I don't mind what you do.
That was one of the things when I went to the Space Coast Comic Con this year in February, and that's where you and I met in person. And I just saw you kind of scooting around. You had your camera, and I was like, I think I need to talk to that guy. And it's one of those things where it's been very valuable to connect with other people who are right in our area. They kind of keep it local, and it's really it's almost like that online family, because we are homebound right now, and so we're all kind of meeting up and friending each other on Facebook and other social media, and we're meeting through things like live streaming and these virtual con events. And there are other ones that are coming up. CyberCon's coming up next week. Yep, that's going to be a big one with Hanging with Web. I mean, our co-hosts for not next week CyberCon, that's the following week after ours. But with Geek Out Virtual Con, we've got some great people who stepped up and said, hey, if you need help, we're here. People like you who said, hey, I know a lot of people, I know a lot of cosplayers who would love to get in on this, just because it's something to do. We have Christian Basil with Hanging with Web. There's my dog scratching again. Let me get over here. We have Christian Basil with Hanging with Web, Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. We've got my co-host, Matthew Harris. We do the Geek Insider podcast together. We've got Rob Anderson, who does OnCon. He's the Indie Advocate and the Indie Devil. And, so all of these great people that we get to meet up with and get to know a little better through our online association. And then eventually, when we get to these conventions, when they start opening up the doors again, it's just going to be so much fun. It's going to be like a family reunion again. And I think that, when we're online and we're doing this stuff, however it is that you plan, because you have pretty much carte blanche when it comes to the cosplay segments of the show, like how are they going to pop in, who's going to talk. I mean, you're going to have some people who might actually perform for us.
Yes, it's like I love my cosplay family because they are such dynamic personalities. More than actually putting on the cosplay, they love to act out the role that they are dressed up for. And I love just taking pictures of that, just being around creative people, just acting out how they want to in a nice, comfortable environment, the convention. Be yourself, be who you are. And that's what I love about conventions.
So now, do you have can you give us a sneak peek or tell us like who might be coming? Because I have some guests that I can announce who will be at the Geek Out Virtual Con. And we've got Athena Finger who's coming. We've got Rick Stafford who gets into the true Aquaman. I love those two. I mean, they're great, genuine people.
Great.
And again, our co-hosts who they don't just they're not just online cheerleaders. They actually, you know, we all do other things. You know, we're kind of in the field, whether it's writing or art, photography, filmmaking. You know, we've got a few segments as far as authors. We've got a few authors. You know, we're going to have more prizes to make it interesting. So, I mean, the door prizes are basically going to be randomly drawn from the people who are watching. So we want a live audience. And of course, there's going to be replays and things like that. But, you know, the purpose is to really grow our social media networks and put ourselves out there in order to do that. And who knows what it'll lead to. I mean, you know, like you were saying that with photography and going to the conventions and things like that, you were kind of introduced by somebody else. It might not have been a path that you would have taken on your own without a little help, right?
No, you know, it's like back then, I was just kind of like busy trying to keep my house together and keep things together. And then part of my household was trying to keep my brother happy and making sure that he goes to conventions. And then after I went through my medical problems and, you know, had became disabled, stayed at home, I decided, you know, why don't we both go together? And it's been like one of the best experiences I have ever had. You know, and having so much fun and getting to meet so many new people. You know, before I actually went to a convention, you know, I started out on Facebook with like about 50 friends that I knew of. Then as of today, I have like about 300 friends, you know, mainly through cosplay, you know, cosplay photography, promoters, writers, video production. So many new people that I've met, you know, actually going to actual conventions. It's a great thing.
Well, we are getting towards the end of our live stream here. Leo, just do the rundown of where people can find you, what groups, what websites, anything that you want to share with the audience so that they can get to know you a little better if they don't already, and that way we can all follow you.
Okay, I developed a group called Florida Con Gurus. That's basically anybody who goes to conventions in Florida, because after I do major conventions and try to set up group shots, I've noticed that some people just kind of like couldn't get the correct information and you know, got kind of lost. So I decided to gather up everybody together and let's all communicate together. And then Florida Con Gurus. Then I have my page Nocedo Photo, where I believe I'm holding like about 40,000 photos in that Facebook page. And then I have a online page called Flickr, Flickr, which holds all 40,000 photos. Flickr. And then I contribute my photography to Florida Geek Scene as Cosplay Monday. And then, you know, what else? Flickr, Instagram, Nocedo Photo. You know, Twitter, Nocedo Photo. And another thing that I like to do is when I'm at convention, I like to upload some of my best photos that I've taken right there at the moment onto my phone and share them on Instagram on an hourly basis.
Okay.
But
now you have photos on iStock as well. Are they available for sale?
Well, okay, that is editorial photography. iStock and Shutterstock, That's editorial photography for news outlets to use for their newspapers and their websites and advertisement. That was kind of like a way to further expand my ability to share photos and also to share what goes on in these actual conventions on a international level. I have people like CNN and Sci-Fi Network and all that, and then I also am doing interviews for the Florida Geek Scene of actual cosplayers themselves, as to how they got their start in cosplay, what was their favorite convention, and who's their favorite cosplayers, and items such as that. I try to bring to light the actual stories of some of these cosplayers that you just see at conventions, but you don't see anywhere else. Give them a name, where they're from, how they start, what they would like to do.
So do you, I know you're the man behind the camera, but do you also get dressed?
No. It's like
why not, Leo? Come on.
Well, no. There was a slip right there. Okay. When me and my brother would go to conventions, my brother, the part brother, he looks so much, we look so much alike that people confuse us as twins. And then people would come up to me and tell me, "Well, guy, I just saw you upstairs." I said, No. That was my brother. We both really look alike. So then at a point, I started doing stuff like face painting, so people can tell us apart, and then start putting on Star Trek uniforms and stuff like that, so people can tell us apart. When they see us, who's who.
Okay, so we'll give you that just so that people can tell you guys apart. I swear the last time I did anything that might have been remotely cosplay was back when I was a little girl, and there's a family photo of us all in our underoos, and I swear I want to recreate that with all of us old, fat, ugly, maybe holding a beer or something like that. That is the photograph that I imagine in my head that we're going to recreate one day. But it's just so fun to see people put on the costumes, put on their wigs, and their face makeup or whatever it is that they do, however it is that they prep, and they turn into these characters, and it takes on a whole new vibe, and it's so fun to watch as they go around to the different convention tables. When you're interacting with them in person, it's just so much fun, and it's got to be exhausting for them as well. And that's something that we're going to be talking to them about also during the virtual con, is just that process. And sometimes they're 2 days, 3 days of being
some 4 days. Yeah. 4 days, and then there's Dragon Con. That just saying that is exhausting. Thinking about that is even more exhausting, and then just doing it, it's just tens and tens of thousands of people all at the same time. That's just a major event.
Do you ever get overwhelmed?
Yes.
And then what do you do when that happens? Because you're in this crush of people. What do you do?
Believe it or not, events like MegaCon, I have more fun in the lobby than I do in the actual event itself. Because space in the lobby is still, easier to move around. And then that's how come I also have my photo shoots outside in the outside steps. Give people a chance to breathe some fresh air, move around, straighten up, and then, get away from the crush that's going inside of the building. Because some of these, such as MegaCon in Tampa Bay, when you go inside of those vendor rooms, it turns elbow to elbow, and you just walking around and one step at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you have to kind of like separate yourself and get into the lobby or walk out to the street and just decompress and and give it a break. Then just go back in. That's how I do things.
Mm-hmm. I kind of imagine you when you're gathering people that you're almost like the Pied Piper. You have a small group that are following you, and then people start looking. They're going, "Where's he going? Where are they going?" And they probably follow you like the Pied Piper right out, and then from there you're the maestro. You get to orchestrate where everybody goes, and that must be a lot of fun.
Yes, it's like I'll be setting up a photo shoot by the genre, and then people will be walking by, wondering what's going on, and you're part of the photo shoot. Just get in there, and then it's like, oh, I'm doing DC photo shoot. Wonder Woman's walking by. Come on, Wonder Woman, come on in. This is for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a ton of fun. Well, we are going to close it up here, Leo. And like I said, I really appreciate you. I cannot wait until we're live streaming through that event. It's a 2-day event, April 11th through 12th. We're going to be live streaming through we are Florida Con Gurus. We're going to be live streaming there. Rob Anderson, if you're listening, I need to have your link so we know where we're live streaming for you. We're going to be simulcasting this to 5 different locations online so that we reach the broadest audience and have a lot of fun. There are still opportunities for people to participate. So you need to contact me at meredith@geekinsider.com. And of course, follow, I'm going to pop this in here.
Oh, yeah.
Follow Florida Geek Scene. Make sure that you follow them on their website, follow their Facebook group. We've got Florida Con Gurus. Definitely check out West Orange Comics and Videogames. So, support your local shops. Especially the comic book shops, video games, movies, music, things like that. I know the big box stores are really convenient and everything, but the little ones, they need your help. So if you can buy a gift certificate, buy online, check them out. Check out the artists and the writers who also send their work to these little shops as well. Leo, thank you so much for your time. I know your house got quiet all of a sudden.
Well, yeah.
Timing's perfect.
Well, yes, I appreciate this because now, now that the cosplayers and other people are seeing what actually is going on, now I'm seeing the messages just popping through that how they want to be part of the lineup.
Oh yeah, get in front of the camera. You can. The nice thing about StreamYard, the nice thing about StreamYard is that you can set up your desktop or laptop webcam. You can use your Android. You can use your iPhone. Yep. When we have the different panels and the different time sections posted, anybody who's participating, and we have to know, okay, because we're not just going to make those public. We're going to have those, otherwise it's just going to be a huge mess. So we have it kind of somewhat organized. You're going to have the StreamYard link in order to get online and live stream with us and have a good time. It's really easy. It's a lot of fun, and you can be as creative as you want to. Yes. Have a decent background or don't. Wear pants or don't,
once last night I made everybody, as many people as were, and then I got the responses, and then now I'm gonna. Okay, David.
That's our daily. We get our daily chuckles from the memes that Leo posts. If you're not following him, you really need to. Leo Nocedo.
But next couple of days, I'm gonna get how many people are gonna actually will show up, and then I'll start setting up a lineup, and then once I know what my set hours are, we discussed that earlier, then I'll start setting up slots, 15 minutes slots for people to come on in and start having fun and do what they do at home.
Yeah, basically, if Leo's naked, taking up a spot, I almost said Leo naked. Oh,
No.
I got to get my head out of the gutter. All right. Basically, with Leo hosting the spot, there are 5 other seats, and then so that'll be 6 on screen and then 4 in the queue. So, you can kind of go on, you goof off for a little while, and then we got to boot you. We got to boot you for the next person to come in and have some fun. I mean, it's going to be a wild experiment. It's going to be a lot of fun. But,
it's like hey,
yeah, just
new.
But everybody's going to have some time. Everybody's going to have some time. We're all going to have a lot of fun.
It's evolution of how things are going to be. And it's like I've never done this on a scale. This is all brand new to me. But we all got to start somewhere.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, with that, we're going to end the broadcast. Thank you so much for tuning in to Lady Geek Live, guys. We went about 12 minutes after, but that's okay. This show is really about nothing. Okay. I mean, if I could take the Seinfeld, mantra, it's a show about nothing. I have nothing planned. I'm just going live because it's an opportunity to reach out and say hello to people, whether you're a geek or not. We're just bringing a little bit of sunshine to the world.
You don't even have to be a cosplayer. If you can be an attendee. People that love collecting autographs. Doing photo ops with their with their favorite actors and stuff like that. If you like coming to the convention, please come.
Basically, if you can geek out about anything, that's what GeekInsider is all about. So, again, we appreciate you. We're going to end on this, and we'll see you guys next week. Leo, I'm going to see you on Facebook real soon.
Yeah.
All righty.
Okay.